The living room of the Anderson family is cozy and well lit. A large sofa occupies the center of the room, and various family photos hang on the walls.
Tonight's the night. I'm finally going to see what happens after bedtime. What are you plotting this time, classic Caillou? You'll see. Just wait until everyone's asleep.
What's going to happen when everyone's asleep?
Something exciting, Rosie. But shush, it's a secret.
Boris enters from the kitchen, holding a plate of cookies.
Cookies, everyone. Fresh from the oven.
Doris follows, carrying glasses of milk.
Time for a snack before bed, kids.
The kids eagerly grab cookies and milk. Classic Caillou looks thoughtful as he munches on his cookie.
Hey, Dad, what do you and Mom do after we go to bed?
Oh, we just relax, maybe watch some TV, read a book. Why do you ask?
Just curious.
Doris looks at Classic Caillou suspiciously but says nothing. The family enjoys their snack, and soon it's bedtime.
All right, kids. Time to brush your teeth and get ready for bed.
The kids groan but follow their mother's instructions. Classic Caillou exchanges a conspiratorial look with Caillou.
Tonight, it's happening.
Classic Caillou's room is dark, lit only by the moonlight streaming through the window. He's lying in bed, eyes wide open, waiting for the house to fall silent. He hears the faint sound of the TV from his parents' room and the soft snoring of his siblings.
Now's my chance.
He sneaks out of bed, careful not to make any noise. He tiptoes to his window, opens it, and climbs out, landing softly on the grass below. He stands up, brushes off his pajamas, and looks around excitedly.
Freedom at last.
He starts to walk towards the street, looking around in awe at the quiet neighborhood under the starry sky. Classic Caillou walks down the empty street, enjoying the thrill of being out so late. He stops at the park, climbs onto the swing, and starts swinging back and forth, laughing softly.
This is amazing. Why don't we do this all the time?
As he swings, he hears a noise behind him. He jumps off the swing, heart racing, and hides behind a tree. He peeks out and sees a raccoon rummaging through a trash can.
Just a raccoon. Phew.
He decides it's time to head back home. He sneaks back to his house, climbs through his window, and gets back into bed, feeling triumphant.
That was just the beginning.
He falls asleep with a smile on his face. The next morning, the family is gathered in the kitchen for breakfast. Classic Caillou is trying hard to hide his excitement. Doris notices his unusual behavior.
You're awfully cheerful this morning, Classic Caillou. Did you sleep well?
Oh, I slept great, Mom.
Caillou and Rosie exchange knowing looks. Boris enters, carrying a newspaper.
Morning, everyone. Ready for a new day.
The kids nod, and Classic Caillou struggles to contain his excitement. He's already planning his next adventure.
Well, I'm glad you're in such a good mood. Just remember, school starts soon and you need to be on your best behavior.
Of course, Mom.
The family finishes breakfast and heads out for their day. Classic Caillou can't stop thinking about his next sneaking out adventure. That night, Classic Caillou is even more determined to sneak out again. He waits patiently until everyone is asleep, then quietly slips out of bed.
Here we go again.
He climbs out of his window and lands softly on the grass. This time, he decides to explore further. He walks towards the town center, marveling at how different everything looks at night. Classic Caillou reaches the town center, which is eerily quiet and deserted. He explores the shops and the park, enjoying the thrill of being out so late. He finds a bench and sits down, taking in the night air.
This is so cool. I wonder what else I can find.
As he's sitting there, he hears a noise. He quickly hides behind a bush, peeking out to see what's happening. A group of teenagers are walking down the street, laughing and talking.
Man, I can't believe we're out so late. This is awesome.
Yeah, totally. Let's go get some snacks from the convenience store.
Classic Caillou watches them, fascinated. He decides to follow them, keeping a safe distance. The teenagers enter a convenience store, and classic Caillou waits outside, hiding behind a trash can. He can hear them talking and laughing inside.
I wish I could join them. They seem so cool.
After a few minutes, the teenagers leave the store, carrying bags of snacks. Classic Caillou follows them as they head to a nearby park and sit down on the swings, eating and talking. He stays hidden, listening to their conversation.
So, what are we going to do now?
Let's just hang out here for a while. It's nice and quiet.
Classic Caillou watches them, feeling a mix of excitement and jealousy. He wishes he could be a part of their group. After a while, he realizes it's getting late and he needs to get back home. He sneaks away, heading back to his house. The next morning, the family is in the living room, preparing for the next day. Classic Caillou is once again trying to hide his excitement. Doris notices and becomes even more suspicious.
Classic Caillou, is there something you want to tell us?
No, Mom. Everything's fine.
We need to talk, Classic Caillou. Your mother and I found some footprints outside your window last night. Do you know anything about that?
No. I don't know anything about that.
We're not angry, Classic Caillou. We just want to know what's going on.
Okay, fine. I snuck out last night. But I didn't do anything bad, I swear.
Boris and Doris exchange worried glances.
Classic Caillou, sneaking out at night is very dangerous. You could have gotten hurt or worse.
We're going to have to ground you for this. You need to learn that your safety is our top priority.
Okay. I understand.
The family shares a moment of silence, realizing the seriousness of the situation. Classic Caillou is sitting in his room, feeling miserable. He's grounded and can't go anywhere. He looks out the window, longing for the freedom he had the past 2 nights.
I guess I really messed up this time.
He hears a knock on the door. Caillou enters, looking sympathetic.
Hey, Classic Caillou. How are you holding up? Not great. I know I messed up, but I just wanted to have fun. I get it. But sneaking out at night is dangerous. Mom and Dad are just worried about you. I know. I just wish I could make it up to them. Maybe there's a way. You could show them you've learned your lesson and try to help out around the house. That's a good idea. I'll do whatever it takes to make things right.
Several weeks have passed since Classic Caillou's last adventure. He's proven himself to be responsible and trustworthy, and his parents have started to relax their watch over him. One night, Classic Caillou lies in bed, thinking.
I've been good for so long. Maybe one more adventure won't hurt.
He hesitates, then decides to sneak out one last time, determined to be extra careful. He quietly climbs out of his window and lands softly on the grass below.
Just one more time.
Classic Caillou walks to the park, enjoying the cool night air. He sits on the swing, thinking about everything that's happened. Suddenly, he hears a noise behind him and turns to see a police car slowly driving by. He freezes, heart pounding.
Oh no, not again.
The police car stops, and an officer steps out, shining a flashlight around. Classic Caillou hides behind a bush, trying to stay out of sight.
Is anyone there?
Classic Caillou holds his breath, hoping the officer will leave. After a tense moment, the officer gets back into the car and drives away. Classic Caillou lets out a sigh of relief.
That was too close. I need to get home.
He quickly makes his way back to his house, climbing through his window and getting back into his bed. He lies there, heart still racing, realizing how foolish he's been. The next morning, Classic Caillou is quiet and thoughtful during breakfast. Boris and Doris notice his subdued behavior.
Is everything okay, Classic Caillou? You seem a bit off today.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Caillou and Rosie exchange worried looks. Doris gives Classic Caillou a concerned glance but doesn't press the issue. That night, Classic Caillou lies in bed, feeling guilty. He knows he needs to come clean to his parents about sneaking out again.
I have to tell them. I can't keep this secret.
He gets out of bed and goes to his parents' room, knocking softly on the door. Boris and Doris look up, surprised to see him.
Classic caillou, what's wrong?
I have to tell you something. I snuck out again last night. I'm really sorry. I know I shouldn't have done it, and I was scared. I promise I won't do it again.
Boris and Doris exchange serious looks, but there's a touch of understanding in their eyes. They gesture for Classic Caillou to come sit with them on the bed.
We appreciate your honesty, Classic Caillou. It takes a lot of courage to come forward like this.
But sneaking out at night is dangerous, and you scared us when we found out. We need to trust that you'll stay safe.
I know. I'm really sorry. I learned my lesson this time for sure. The police car came by, and I was so scared. I know I don't ever want to feel that way again.
We're glad you're safe. But there will be consequences, Classic Caillou. We need you to understand that your actions affect everyone in this family.
I understand. I'm really sorry. I'll do anything to make it right.
We'll talk about your punishment tomorrow. For now, get some rest. We love you, Classic caillou, and we just want you to be safe.
Classic Caillou nods, feeling a mix of relief and guilt. He returns to his room and lies in bed, knowing he has to earn back his family's trust once again. The next day, the family gathers in the living room. Boris and Doris have serious expressions, but there's also a sense of calmness. Classic Caillou stands in front of them, looking remorseful.
We've decided on your punishment, Classic Caillou. You're grounded for 2 weeks, and there will be no TV or video games during that time.
And we expect you to help out around the house, just like you did before. This is not just a punishment but also a way to rebuild our trust.
I understand.